What if everything you believed about your mental health, your emotional reactions, and even your childhood was only half the story? What if the feelings of loneliness, depression, and being completely lost in life weren't character flaws or signs of weakness, but actually perfectly logical responses to experiences you had no control over? Today, we're diving into the extraordinary insights of professional psychiatrist Dr. Gabor Máté. And by the time this video ends, you're going to walk away with a completely transformed understanding of why you feel the way you do, how your past is secretly running your present, and what you can actually do about it starting right now. Let's start with something Dr. Gabor Máté says that genuinely stops people in their tracks. When someone tells you they feel like the world is against them, he doesn't dismiss that. He doesn't tell them to think positive or just push through it. What he says is this: that feeling isn't actually a feeling, it's a belief. And here's the part that changes everything. If you carry that belief right now, it's because at some point in your life you genuinely had that experience. But here's what's critical to understand. That experience belonged to a child who was helpless and alone. It didn't belong to the adult you are today. What's showing up in your belief system is the emotional echo of your childhood, not your present reality. Dr. Máté is emphatic about this because he's been there himself. He's openly shared that he's had moments so dark he couldn't see the point of living. So when he speaks about this, he's not speaking from a textbook. He's speaking from lived experience combined with decades of professional psychiatric expertise. Now here's something Dr. Máté points out that's both fascinating and deeply reassuring. If someone is talking about their pain, if they're expressing how stuck and alone they feel, they haven't given up. Not really, because the people who've truly surrendered don't say a word. They just quietly retreat and isolate. So the very act of speaking up, of reaching out, of watching a video like this one, that's already a signal that something inside you is looking for a way forward. And Dr. Máté says that person absolutely can be helped. But there's a massive problem in how we currently seek that help, and Dr. Máté is unsparing about it. He points out that the average doctor, the average psychiatrist, has received almost no training in trauma. They can identify PTSD as a specific diagnosis, but they don't learn about how unresolved trauma forms the hidden root of depression, anxiety, and even ADHD. Many therapists trained in cognitive behavioral therapy or dialectical behavioral therapy are skilled at helping you change surface-level behaviors and thoughts, but they can't reach the core wound underneath. They can manage the symptoms. They can't heal the source. What Dr. Máté recommends looking for is a trauma-informed professional. Someone who's willing to work not just on your behaviors but on the original wound that your behaviors are merely symptoms of. There are approaches he endorses, including somatic experiencing, internal family systems, and compassionate inquiry, which is based on his own framework. Now let's talk about something that might be the most practically useful thing in this entire video. Triggers. You've done the work, you've made real progress, and then something small happens and suddenly you're back to zero and you don't understand why. Dr. Máté uses a brilliant analogy here. Think about the trigger on a rifle. It's tiny. It's almost nothing. But for it to fire anything, there has to be a loaded mechanism, ammunition, and an explosive charge already in place. When something triggers you emotionally, the other person's words or actions are just the tiny trigger. You're the one carrying the ammunition. And that's not a criticism. That's actually incredibly liberating because it means your healing is in your own hands. Dr. Máté suggests shifting the question from, "Why is this happening to me?" which is actually a statement of resistance, to, "I wonder why I reacted that way," which is an open, curious question. That single shift in language is the difference between shame and self-discovery. He calls this compassionate curiosity, approaching your own reactions not with judgment but with genuine interest. When you get triggered, that's information. It's showing you something you haven't fully resolved yet. Something that's still carrying a charge. And once you look at it with compassion rather than frustration, it loses its power over you. Now, before we go further, I want to mention something that could genuinely accelerate everything we're talking about here. If you're watching this because you're ready to stop reacting from old wounds and start building a life with real intention, then you need to know about the self-mastery system. And I'm mentioning this now because what Dr. Máté is describing, this shift from old patterns to genuine transformation, requires more than just awareness. It requires a complete system. The self-mastery system is exactly that. It's a comprehensive toolkit with 30 guides and over 210 interactive components designed to help you master your mindset, break free from self-doubt, build habits that actually stick, and design a life of purpose rather than just busyness. It addresses the full picture, not just one piece of the puzzle. Because lasting change doesn't come from a single tip. It comes from a structured, holistic approach. You can find more information in the description below. Also, if this content is resonating with you, please hit subscribe right now, because we regularly break down the ideas of the world's most respected thinkers on psychology, human behavior, and self-development, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Now let's get into something Dr. Máté says about that inner critical voice, the one that tells you you're not good enough, you're not doing enough, you'll never measure up. He has a fascinating way of reframing it. He calls it a stupid friend. Not stupid because it means you harm. Stupid because it doesn't realize you've grown up. That voice formed when you were maybe 6 or 7 years old as a protective mechanism. When things weren't going well as a child, there were 2 unconscious beliefs available. 1. The world is dangerous and nobody can be trusted. 2. There's something wrong with me, but if I work hard enough I can fix it. The second belief is actually more protective for a child because it gives them a sense of control. But decades later, that same 7-year-old voice is still running the same script. Dr. Máté's advice is to greet that voice with genuine warmth. Say hello to it, acknowledge that it came to protect you, and then let it know you're an adult now and you've got this handled. Let's end on Dr. Máté's guidance for parents because it's profound. He says the greatest gift you can give your child is your own happiness and emotional health. Your child is constantly downloading your emotional state and making it their own. If you're carrying unresolved stress, anxiety, or depression, your child will absorb that and internalize it as a story about themselves. He emphasizes the first 3 years of a child's life as foundational. Children need unconditional acceptance, the freedom to experience all their emotions without being told to suppress them, and spontaneous play in nature away from screens. He's direct about technology, stating that screens have been shown through brain scans to interfere with healthy neurological development. He'd keep young children away from devices entirely. Parenting today is genuinely harder, he acknowledges, because we've moved so far from the communal, connected environments human beings evolved in. But these principles remain the target. What ties all of this together is something simple and revolutionary. You are not broken. Your reactions, your fears, your struggles are logical responses to things that happen to you. And healing is not just possible, it's available right now, in the present moment, no matter what happened then. Now I want to make sure you watch the next video on your screen right now, because it's going to take everything you've just learned about psychology and self-mastery to a completely different level. It's about Machiavelli's 7 dark psychology tricks, covering why you should never react, never explain, and just ignore. You'll want to watch it because Machiavelli's centuries-old principles reveal how power, perception, and emotional control actually operate in the real world, and understanding them will make you sharper, more composed, and far harder to manipulate. Don't sleep on that one. It's right there on your screen. Click now for more self-mastery tips.